Wondering if the Observer play kit from Lovevery is worth it? In short, yes. Financially speaking, if we were to add up all of the dupes for this and try to self-curate it, it would come in less to purchase directly from Lovevery. However, after having this play kit for 9 months, I have some thoughts on it. In this video, I'll share our personal experience with the items. I'll also talk about how these items compare to Amazon alternatives or Etsy dupes, and I will leave links to any of the dupes I mentioned in this video in the description box below. There's also a blog post version of this video in the description box below if you need to go back and quick reference anything. If you guys are new here, my name is Rachel from The Confused Mom. Welcome to my channel. I share baby and toddler product reviews, activities, as well as Montessori at home tips. So make sure to hit that subscribe and notification bell. I have also reviewed every single Lovevery play kit to date, generally from the perspective of having it for a minimum of 9 months. So definitely go back, check out those play kit reviews. Let's talk about what's inside this play kit. Largest item in this play kit that does make it 100% worth it in my opinion is this modular playhouse, and within this item are several other toys that can be used independently together and with other items from past Lovevery play kits, as well as probably just other toys in your home. It is so smartly designed. I am such a huge fan of it. So you get 2 main playhouse sections that can be arranged and reconfigured several ways. There's also a car that has 2 people and a bed that fits 2 people. And then there's also this plastic slide as well as a set of keys. So you're getting like a lockbox. You're getting some engineering. You're getting so many STEM lessons in a beautiful Waldorf package. I did not initially give her the visual cue guide. I wanted to see how she would handle the items on her own. And eventually she found the visual guide just sitting in my office, and I would catch her during quiet time, literally looking at the guide and then reconfiguring the dollhouse and seeing how things worked. So I gave her all of these items close to 2.5 years. I would say she started to use the visual guide shortly after 3 years old. I was not expecting her to like it. I wanted to see what she would come up with on her own, but she really liked recreating the picture. The car wheels are fantastic. My baby, I know it's technically a choking hazard and should be given to kids under 3, but my baby does absolutely love the car. He also loves mouthing the slide too. We got so much use out of this. 10/10 recommend. It can be reconfigured with a block set and used just so many different ways. It makes this entire play kit in itself, I think, worth it when you start to look at the dupes for it. One of the items that's pretty similar to it is the slide and go dollhouse. Now it does not have the lockbox feature, it doesn't have the car, but the dollhouses do nest into each other. They are modular and it does come with some furniture accessories. And that one right there is gonna cost $160-ish, depending on where you buy it from. So right there, you're already spending more than this entire play kit. There is also a HAPE geometric dollhouse. It's a little bit harder to find, so check those links in the description box. Check that blog post. And then as far as another modular house option, Lego Duplo actually has one. It does have some doll pieces. Personally, not my biggest fan, but if you are a Lego family, that may be the option you want. And the number one thing that a lot of people always ask about is the Lovevery weatherboard. And there is no denying that this item is beautiful. However, I have to say from a practicality standpoint, it is kind of a bust for me. Basically what it is a visual and interactive tool to help your child take ownership of their everyday. They set the season, they set the day of the week. There's a little thermometer that kind of shows how to dress for the day. They can obviously turn the weather dial throughout the day. And then there's this little slider section here that has a few different cards. Living in South Florida, it is not the most realistic or practical for us. The actual biggest issue I have with the weatherboard is that there is nowhere acknowledging the moon. I really hope when they do an upgrade of this that they add a phases of the moon section, because as a mother to a daughter and knowing what so many women are struggling with today, which is a disconnection to our menstrual cycles, there is a lot to be said about using this time that children take a natural interest in the moon to start to teach them about the phases of the moon, since women's cycles are so closely tied. There's different ways to eat based on the moon phase. There's different ways to work out based on the moon phase. So I think as we are talking about foundational, thinking about their child development later on down the road, I would love to have a strong foundation for her already set in place where she is following the cycles of the moon, where we can just layer onto that knowledge. And again, like I said, all toddlers at some point end up having an interest in the moon. My personal opinion, this little section here that has the slider, I feel like they should get rid of those cards. A, because they're really hard to get in and out. You can see here mine are bent. B, because it only is focusing on one thing at a time anyway. And actually just put in phases of the moon back here, and then you just move the slider over to what phase of the moon is. So I really hope they make that swap, because it would give a more complete picture while also planting a seed for something that will end up being hugely important as girls get older, but everyone is kind of impacted by the moon. I mean, literally talk to any of your friends. When there's a full moon, our babies are not sleeping, so if nothing else, it will help prepare the parents. And I'm curious too, if you guys have this, did you find it hard to switch out the cards? But that brings us to the dupes. Like I said, I have very specific Florida, living in the South issues here. Our weather changes minute by minute. It will literally be raining on the other side of the street and our house is dry. For me, seeing something on the board that depicts wet, wetter, wettest would be more helpful, because that really helps us figure out like how quick dry of clothes do I need? Do I need a raincoat and rain boots? Additionally, living in a coastal beach town, wind factor is huge. We have a super gusty day. 90 degrees in Florida can feel like 80. And living in Florida, the humidity piece is obviously a big factor. And you know, these kind of things that I'm mentioning that are very Florida specific are found on true weather boards. I think it's just important to note that Lovevery's is truly a combination of days of the week and weather. I think they call this item the plan ahead weather board, and really it's more about plan ahead and less about weather. But living in Florida, this whole t-shirt, light jacket, heavy jacket thing applies a lot less to us versus truly learning how to read Florida weather as far as humidity, wind, rain, and all of that type of stuff helps us make our clothing choices a little bit differently. And of course, there are much cheaper dupes. Those ones I'm talking about here are all wooden weather boards, but I will also link some cheaper plastic ones that can go on your fridge, magnetic ones, things like that. The next item in this play kit are the left and right shoe stickers. These are super high quality, definitely like laminated really well, where the wear of them should hold up. And I say should because we have actually never used these. By the time my daughter got this play kit, she already pretty much knew her left and right shoe. So I didn't feel the need to add these to her shoes. She's also kind of like a shoe horse for some reason. I don't get it, because I literally wear 2 pairs of shoes. She takes after my husband, who has a whole closet of shoes, which she is very into switching out her shoes multiple times a day. There's only 4 of them in here. I'd rather save this. I have a feeling my son's gonna need them more than she would. So these are like tucked away somewhere, and you can purchase dupes for this. The next big item in this are these wooden peg emotion dolls. These were a big hit. She loves these. She adds these to the little sleeping bags from the previous play kit with the campsite. She adds these into her doll houses. My son particularly, while teething, loves the happy doll. It's often an item I grab while changing his diaper. These are really fun. They also work well with the books in this play kit. Sometimes if child doesn't know how to name the emotion yet, it's really helpful to have these on hand and say, can you point to which one you're feeling? So I'm a huge fan of these, and I love the little stand for organization it comes on. You can purchase dupes that are very similar to this, or you can even buy just plain unfinished wooden peg dolls from Amazon and draw your own pictures on there, or have your child do that as a craft project with you too. The next set of items that come in this play kit are their emotion books. So these books help toddlers identify, process, and connect with emotions through the characters in the book. Hold off on giving them to your toddler until the issue starts to present themselves. That's probably the biggest takeaway in a previous video I did about things to avoid when selecting books for babies and toddlers. These books tackle big emotions, which is helpful because 3-year-olds have big emotions, but we want to make sure we are following a Montessori principle here in following the child and waiting to see when they are struggling with one of these situations before giving them the book. This way, they are given a coping skill to work through that situation with versus seeing a meltdown over something that they previously didn't struggle with.
The first book we introduced was Quiet in My Body, which is a great little book, and I do like this book a lot, and we read it pretty often, but I wish there was one small tweak. I think the pattern it follows is very adult. Most toddlers I know, when completing the stress cycle, need physical activation first. So I wish when he says, I might want to pull my hand away, the authors would have followed his instinct there and had mom adapt her approach to follow the child and teach him how to wiggle out his hands instead. Then, once that cycled through, inviting him to learn her technique of affection and then breathing, which are two other great ways to complete the stress cycle, but I find them to be a bit more advanced or adult, and I think it's smart to meet toddlers where they are at, and their first instinct is typically going to be the physical release.
So while we do like the book, it really has not helped us at all. But let me know if you have a different experience or opinion with your 3-year-old utilizing this. Instead, for me, I would have loved to see them teaching kids to like jump up and down or shake their hands really fast or like act like a jellyfish and then go to Quiet in the Body, just because that energy needs to shake out before we can feel calm and then go into making logical choices. Again, in my experience. Two Big Feelings is a book I literally avoided until probably a week ago. We go to the store with my daughter all the time. We do not have the issue presented in it where she wants to bring toys home. She knows the toys live at the store and we don't bring them home. It's pretty much how we've always raised her. However, we did deal with a situation recently where she was 100% going through angry and sad. And so while the situation wasn't the exact same, reading that book and allowing her to see another child that was feeling angry and sad really helped her move through the feelings. We read it probably like, I don't know, 10 times, and I asked her how she was feeling afterwards, and she said she was still feeling angry. She was able to then go with me outside and do some things to get the anger energy shifted out. So it did help us a lot, even though it was a different situation. And Happy Either Way is the book I personally love the most. It is a situation we deal with a lot. She typically gets bulldozed a little bit at the playground, and she will get up to the top of a slide and there will be a line building behind her and she will freak out and be like, I don't want to go down anymore. Having her actually get to make the choice in this book and see that either option ends up working out great, trying a new thing or changing your mind. 10/10 love this book. My daughter loves this book. We work a lot with her on using her strong voice or finding exit routes or when she's feeling overwhelmed. And as far as dupes for these, I honestly don't want to recommend any dupes for these because I could go ahead and pull a book off of Amazon and say, here's a book about feelings, but I have purchased so many feelings books off of Amazon only to return them because they just don't do a good job teaching kids how to work through feelings. The Lovevery books, I think once you are starting to deal with these scenarios, are invaluable. All 3 of them have literal exact lines that we have gone through in our house, and so they just do such a good job of that continuity of how we personally parent that there's no other books I could possibly recommend if you're dealing with these particular situations. If you guys do have any books for toddlers that teach emotions well like these, I would love for you to drop them in the comments below. I'm super curious to hear your thoughts. And as always, this play kit comes with a little play guide for parents full of the expert tips, developmental info, ways to play with the items, and at-home activity ideas, kind of like your spark notes for parenting this age range. And let me tell you, the day my daughter turned 3, it definitely was a floodgate of new experiences. This play kit from Lovevery costs $120. Financially speaking, if you were to buy all of the cheapest dupes that I mentioned, you're looking at spending around $130 for the books. I just said 10 bucks a book. Although if you were to find ones that were as high quality as Lovevery's, it'd probably be a little bit more, but I'm gonna round down. Or if you were to buy the most expensive dupes I mentioned in this video, you're looking at spending as much as $295. So either way you slice it, financially speaking, it's a good deal. Of course though, there's the qualitative, and if you don't think that you're gonna use the dollhouse, it's probably not worth getting. Like I said, that dollhouse is so good, and to truly buy the best quality dupe to match it, you're gonna spend more than this play kit in itself. myself. So for that reason alone, I think this play kit is worth it. I do think the weatherboard needs some improvements. The books though are fantastic. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend. As always, my name's Rachel from The Confused Mom. Make sure to go back, check out my past Lovevery play kit reviews, check out my toddler activity ideas, and until next time, have a good one.